Hey, have you ever really looked at the shirt you're wearing? Or, the fabric on your sofa? We are literally surrounded by textiles, but we hardly ever stop to think about the incredible ancient technology that turns a bunch of simple loose threads into the strong, beautiful fabrics that pretty much shape our entire world. So today, let's unravel that secret language of weaving together.
So here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll start with the absolute basics of how you even get fabric from threads. Then we'll get into what I like to call the weaving dance. Meet the machine that makes it all happen, explore all the different kinds of looms out there, and then we'll put it all in context and look at the fascinating world of hand looms versus power looms in India.
All right, let's jump right in at the very beginning, with probably the most basic question there is.
I mean, it seems a little like magic, doesn't it? That you can take a pile of flimsy, separate yarns and somehow turn them into a solid, durable sheet of cloth. Well, the answer isn't magic, but it is an incredibly clever process that humans have been perfecting for thousands of years. And that process is weaving. At its very core, the idea is actually super simple. It's just the systematic interlacing of two sets of yarn. The easiest way to think about it is like a grid. You have one set of threads running up and down, and another set crossing them from side to side. And those two sets are really what we need to get our heads around. So first up, you have the warp yarns. Think of these as the foundation of your fabric. They get stretched out, parallel to each other, and held really tight under tension. They're the backbone. Then you've got the weft. If the warp is the foundation, the weft is the builder. This is the yarn that actually travels, going over and under the warp threads, locking them all together and building the cloth one row at a time. That simple over-under action is what gives fabric all its strength and structure.
Okay, so how does this over-under thing actually happen? Well, it's not random. It's a really precise, mechanical, and almost musical sequence of events. It's got a rhythm, a dance. And this is the part that blows my mind. Every single piece of woven fabric out there, from a basic cotton t-shirt to the most complicated silk sari, is made by repeating the same three steps over and over and over again. It's this continuous cycle, a dance between the machine and the threads.
And here it is, that three-step dance. Step one is shedding. This is where some of the warp threads are lifted up and others are left down. This creates a little triangular opening called the shed. Step two is picking. This is where the weft thread is passed or picked right through that opening from one side to the other. And finally, step three, the beat up. A part of the machine pushes that brand new weft thread firmly against the cloth that's already woven. Shed, pick, beat up. Shed, pick, beat up. That is the heartbeat that creates fabric.
Now, what kind of machine can perform this intricate dance so perfectly, again and again? Well, that machine, of course, is the loom. It's the engine that brings this whole creation to life.
Now, looms can basically be split into two big families. On one side, you've got the hand loom. This is the original, powered entirely by a person. It's slower, sure, but it gives the weaver this incredible artistic control, which is why it's perfect for the most detailed and unique designs. On the other side, you've got the power loom, driven by electricity or mechanics. This is the workhorse of the modern textile industry, built for one thing, mass production, fast and efficient.
But wait, it gets even more interesting. It's not just about hand versus power. Looms are also categorized by the specific technologies they use to perform that three-step dance we just talked about. Let's take a look at how this engine has evolved over time.
You can really see this evolution in that picking step. You know how the weft thread actually makes its way across the warp. The classic way is the shuttle loom, where this wooden shuttle, kind of like a little boat carrying the yarn, literally flies back and forth. But modern looms, the shuttle-less ones, are way faster. Rapier looms use these slick little rods to pass the yarn across, while air-jet and water-jet looms use powerful blasts of air or water to shoot the weft across at unbelievable speeds.
So what about the patterns? How are those made? Well, that's all controlled by the shedding mechanism. The simplest one is called a cam or tappet system, which can only really create basic weaves, like a plain checkerboard or a simple twill. A Dobby loom is a step up. It can control whole groups of warp threads to make small geometric patterns. But the absolute master of complexity is the Jacquard mechanism. It can control every single warp thread one by one, which means you can create the most incredibly detailed and intricate patterns you can possibly imagine.
So this table kind of lays it all out, right? There's a really clear trade-off. The cam system is super simple, low complexity, but you only get simple patterns. The Dobby is right there in the middle, and then you have the Jacquard system. Yeah, it's highly complex, but what you get in return is a pattern capability that is just limitless. It all comes down to this. The more control you have over those warp threads, the more intricate your design can be.
So let's take all this technical know-how and apply it to a place where weaving isn't just an industry, it is a deep, deep part of the cultural fabric itself, India. Here, the story of the hand loom versus the power loom is really the story of the nation.
This chart lays out the core differences perfectly. I mean, when it comes to raw speed and production scale, the power loom is the hands-down winner. No contest. It's an industrial beast. But when you look at design intricacy, that's where the hand loom just shines. That human touch allows for a level of artistry and nuance that's really, really hard for a machine to replicate.
You know, I think this quote just nails it. It's not about one being better than the other. They just serve totally different purposes. Handloom weaving is a living, breathing art form. It's a tradition that's been passed down for generations, and it sustains millions of artisans and keeps these unique cultural identities alive. Powerloom weaving, on the other hand, is the engine of a modern economy, clothing millions and driving a massive national industry.
And in a place like India, these two worlds don't just exist side by side, they're intertwined. They really represent two sides of the same coin, a deep textile heritage that is simultaneously preserving ancient artistry and the people who depend on it, while at the same time powering a modern global economy. It's a complex, but really beautiful, woven future. So we've gone from a single thread to a massive global industry, from a simple rhythm to incredible machines and artistry. So I'll leave you with this question. The next time you look at a piece of fabric, are you going to see just a pattern? Or are you going to see the ancient dance of warp and weft, hear the echo of the loom, and see the incredible story woven into every single thread?